Hi everyone, I'm Tom and today I'm going to be showing you Aeon Trespass 12 Sins of Herakles, which is a standalone game in the Aeon Trespass series. It takes the same battle adventure system that we've seen in Aeon Trespass Odyssey. If you haven't seen that yet, you could check out my playthrough for both the battle and adventure phase of that game. But it's been refined and expanded in 12 Sins of Herakles, which is going to expand on the world of Hellas and introduce a new generation of protagonists in a post-eschaton world. In the story, we assume the role of the Heraclides, vengeful children of the demigod Heracles. Follow in the trail of devastation left behind by your so-called father and discover the secrets of the mysterious hero of legend, his many accolades, and the role he played in the calamity that has consumed Hellas. This is on Kickstarter right now as part of, hey, I can use this to make it bigger, as part of a second printing campaign for Aeon Trespass Odyssey. So whether it is just the base game or this standalone, or maybe both that you want, you can check it out in the Kickstarter campaign starting on the 16th of May. I'll put a link to the campaign page in the corner of the screen using my virtual hand to point to, and in the description you can check out the full campaign page there where you can see everything that is included. I've got a basic demo here on Tabletop Simulator, which, so set up here is the first battle against a primordial called the Lion Eater. I can't do a great job. There you go, look at that. It's only a kind of a 3D representation, isn't it? But it should give you a pretty good idea of what these minis are going to look like. And yeah, if you check out anything from the release day on Trespass Odyssey, you can see they are beautiful, not so many minis. So we are the Heraclides and we have the power, perhaps due to our father, whatever it is, we have got the power to transform into titans. See, the character that you pick this time, we've got a little bit of a bit of flavor text. You have your starting Titan form, which is the same for all of these 4 starters. You will get ability cards that throughout the game you will level up and start to earn. And as an example of some personal abilities, so that knight at level 1 can gain you +1 speed if you're willing to exhaust it. And as you go through the adventure, you will unlock more abilities for that card. If your danger is at 6 or more, you can discard this while on a vantage point to get an extra chance to wound. And if your danger is 5 or more, and you're willing to exhaust this and take 2 fate, after the BP deck has been shuffled, shuffle it again. This happens when the monster escalates. So if you wound a level 1 body part, it gets a level 2 AI card and BP card in there, and you shuffle it all up. Maybe the level 2's now on top, or maybe even a level 3, and you'd like an easier one, you could give it another shuffle. And you have an innate ability where you can warn, you can allow other players to move around if you've reached enough danger and are willing to spend some fate to do it. Here are starting titans, and you might notice it's similar to the ones that we started with in Odyssey, but a bit of a change in the Kratos table there at levels 4 and 7. You get a movement and you can re-roll one of the wound dice. I think it was either or in Odyssey. We start out with our good old fists as a basic weapon, but also we've got a little bit of armor to start us off now. Rather than the great big city ship that we had in Odyssey, we now have our Oikos, our family, and this is what's tracked throughout the campaign. We still track some things like the number of titans we've got, the kind of cargo that we've got in our hold, but we have Bond and Guys as our main things to track rather than our crew and hull that were in Odyssey. Guys is the strength of your group and your ability to remain incognito during your travels because we are being hunted. High Guys means we're flying below the radar. And Bond is the internal strength of our groups, the bonds of family and friendship that hold us together. So let's have a little look at a preview of the introduction to the level 0, the introductory fight against the Lion Eater. Childhood's end. Your father was a wrong'un. Almost says that. He says it calmly, looking you straight in the eyes over his smoked lenses, as if you didn't know. He has failed you, and you have every reason to hate him. I won't tell you not to, and I won't tell you you're wrong. I will tell you to get in line, because here's the thing, your father failed a hell of a lot of people. Peoples. The corner of his mouth twitches. A thought crosses your mind. Who does he think he is, this weathered man in a worn, dappled robe, to walk into your village and talk to you as if he knows anything about you? He broke things, unleashed others. The sorry state of this world, that's on him too. So there's a lot of amends to be made, and he's not here to make them. Others tried, but, well, they were only mortal. Those were great bloody mistakes your father stumbled into. The weathered man takes a deep breath, adjusts his lenses, exhales with a whistling sound. They say, like father, I say, prove them wrong. Come with me, let us see what can be fixed. And if I say no, you ask defiantly, then you say no. The weathered man shrugs and stands up. Despite his years, his frame is impressive still. And I walk to the next polis over, where another abandoned woman sired a similarly unruly child, a sibling you did not know about, a sibling who, like you, has not met their father, and struggles with the same helpless anger that consumes you. Your father was dead naughty. Have you not been listening? He reaches for his spear, planted into the ground before he called you out, and pulls it out with one swift motion. I don't want to have anything to do with him or his other children, you say, and you mean it. For if there was anything you despised in this world, it was him, Herakles, your father. Fair. More than fair. The weathered man nods knowingly, then scratches his brow. Would that it were so simple. Of his sins, the original one is the most grave, and the one that courses through your veins. You feel it, right? The constant rage, the urge to destroy it all, the typhonic curse. In time, if not tamed, that rage will consume you, and all that remains will be a mindless monster, a titan. That word makes you pause. Titan. You have dreamt of it. A dream of power, running through the fields and forests uncontested, crossing mountains and seas unmatched, slaying any and all who stand in your way indiscriminately. I will master it. The man gives you a different kind of look. After a second, he shakes his head. No. You see a special kind of disappointment in his eyes. In you, he sees him. You take a step back, suddenly shaken. Besides, he adds as he turns away, ready to move on just as he said he would, your time has run out. Your father's gone. And all of those people, they want revenge too, and they'll be coming for the next best thing. You. How do you think I found you? With that, he leaves. You stand there watching as he ascends the slopes of your village, the only world you've known. The blistering summer sun moves sluggishly across the sky. Leaves rustle in the wind. The man's brightly coloured tunic flutters. Wait, you shout as you catch up to him. Who are you anyway? Who am I? He says, taking pleasure in every measured word. I'm your father's best friend. Best friend, you think, as you stare down the gargantuan, bristling monstrosity climbing the crooked Nemean spire. That was his pitch back then, and it worked too. And now you are here doing this. The primordial, larger than a temple, could slay a mortal with its very presence. But you are not a mortal, are you? Not now, anyways. Now you are a titan. Humanity's worst enemy. Humanity's last hope. You look sideways to your newly discovered siblings, similarly cursed. That kind of best friend, eh? There is no more time to think. The Lion Eater descends upon you. And then we would have a battle. As I said, for a full run-through of how battles work, I have done a full playthrough of the first fight in Aeon Trespass Odyssey, which uses the same system, but I will run you through just how that works. So we can have a look at, hey, the mini for the Lion Eater again, and you can look at the little 3D previews of the minis for the Titans that we've got. There we go. So looking at the Lion Eater, you get one of these cards describing the primordials that you will fight. It told us that we were fighting level 0, so we only have to look at that box at the very top. It tells us the numbers we need to roll to hit it, 6+. How many spaces it can move, 6. And how much health it's got, how many wounds it needs to take to be defeated, 6. It also gets given a trait of Runt, and it tells us at the bottom of the box that we ignore some things. Because this is only a level 0 fight, it makes it a little bit easy for us. It only having 6 health rather than 10 makes it a quicker fight as well. There is also -1 to wound. When we actually get a hit through, we need 1 fewer success to actually wound the body part we are trying to wound when that comes across. Now the Lion Eater also has a couple of extra things we ignore at level 0, which is based on swallowing titans. If you are swallowed, you go on this card. You can only attack from inside the belly of the beast. While you are inside there, you will gain danger and draw an obol card, which is a chance of being killed. We do have that armor that gives us 1 second chance, lets us redraw an obol card. But if the Lion Eater should suffer a wound, if there are any swallowed titans, you put a token underneath each of them, and then if there are 2 or more tokens under a mini, the titan is regurgitated. And as long as it has a swallowed titan inside, it can't stalk in the tall grass or knock back, because it's got a full tummy. If it tries to do its routine, any swallowed titans will die, and if it didn't kill anyone this way, it will move to the closest titan with unlimited movement, and that Titan will die. It will do its routine if it can't do what was on its card. Every turn in the primordial round, we draw one of its AI cards from the stack, which is just made up of level 1 cards to begin with, and it tells us what the primordial will do. So its first attack will be, it has stalked you. So in the top right there, you can see a 1, that just tells you it's a level 1 card, and it tells us that it's going to attack somebody with 4 dice, and it will hit on 6 or more. In the target section, it tells us who the primordial is going to be going for. The target is the priority target in range. This would be randomly determined at the start of the game, but for our purposes, it's a Chemagoras over here, who is down here. So we have found a target. If they couldn't get in range of the priority target with the movement that they've got, then we would move down until they have found somebody. So it's then going to move and attack. And that bit in red means if the target's fate is 3 or more, they get an extra die on that attack. Fate is something that we as players can use in the adventure phase and the battle to re-roll dice. You are, altering fate, but perhaps incurring the wrath of the gods if you try and bend things to your will too much. So the primordial kind of zigzags over to the closest target and faces them. Physics in Tabletop Simulator being a bit precarious. And we know that it's rolling 4 dice and we can dodge its hits on 6s. So give those a roll, and it hasn't actually hit at all. Let's assume that it had hit once. The card tells us that each hit deals a danger. Danger is kind of your health, so that would increase on your Triskelion. And if you took damage from an attack, we can have a look at the trauma table here, which the Tabletop Simulator mod is helpfully pointing out with those green arrows for me. It tells you which deck you need to draw a trauma card from. It's only minor at the start because we've only got 1 danger. So we draw from the minor trauma deck, and it tells us that we've been thrown off balance. Exhaust all your exhaustible items with this symbol. If none were exhausted, you're knocked down. Sometimes the trauma can be good, often it's bad. We haven't got any cards that are exhaustible, so we are freed from that at least, but unfortunately, we would be knocked down instead. I'm actually not sure how to knock people down on Tabletop Simulator. I can flip them, would that do it? There we go. That's kind of knocked down. I know that shortcut. So when you're knocked down, you can't basically do anything on your turn. And at the end of your turn, you'll flip it up. At the start of the turn after that, you can choose to stand yourself up and be normal. So you kind of miss a turn from that happening. It's because we didn't have any exhaustible things, and the other 3 could still act. We aren't done though, because the AI card would tell us after the attack it's going to hide. So it said closest, it's going to fully hide in the tall grass closest to it. So it's partially on this, it will just go fully on this tall grass and hide out. Correction corner, it'll actually move to the closest grass cluster it isn't already on, and it gets fully placed like in the middle of those tiles, not just precariously balanced on one like I've done here. And then it will turn to face the most titans. So I'll face these 2. Speaking of the tall grass, it is obscuring for titans, and if the primordial's fully on tall grass like it is now, it's 2 harder to hit. You would need 8s in this battle to hit it on your attack dice, unless you are attacking it from a vantage point. We don't have any of those right now. So yeah, that will make things a lot tougher to get over there. But that will be it for their first attack. And then titans can move and attack on their turns. So our movement, you can see at the top of the card, is 5. So you would have to toddle on over to the primordial on your turn, and with your basic attack, your fists have got 2 dice. Now when we roll these dice, there is 1 that is white. That's our crit die. Now nobody has anything that references critical defending just yet. But there is critical defending as well if you get a 10 on the white die. You can also critically hit too. If you roll these, we do need 8s, so it's very tough to do this while it's hiding out in the tall grass. So let's give them a roll and see what happens. Wow, that's a crit! So only 1 hit, but it's a crit, which is great for my example. If you manage to hit with an attack, you draw from the body parts deck, which also starts off at level 1. And you see which body parts you have the potential of wounding. The elbow spike. You see that number in the middle there? We need 4 successes on our wound roll. But remember, we are playing at level 0, so you can see the symbol at the top in the level 0 box there, just under the to hit value. -1 to that. So because we're only playing at level 0, we need 3 successes here to wound. For this, we roll the red dice. We roll 1 just inherently, that's on our Titan card. And then our fists tell us that we roll 1 for every hit that we got. So because this was a 1, we don't get to roll 1 for that, but we do for this 10. So we get to roll 2 of these dice, and you can kind of see all of the values on them right now. So the lines are successes. We need 3 of those. The triangles are successes if you can spend a break token, which we aren't going to have at the moment. So it's unlikely we would need 3 of the lines to succeed at this, and I think only 1 of the faces has 2 lines on it. It's possible. It happened. Okay, I thought I was just going to have a hypothetical there. So, there is a reaction there in red. Sometimes the monster will react if we fail. Sometimes it will react if we manage to wound it. Sometimes it will react either way. So if we'd failed to hit it, it would have knocked us down and then gone and hid in the closest grass, which it kind of already is. If you wound it, you put the body part on the wound stack now. You need to do this 6 times, remember its health, to defeat the monster in this particular fight. Usually it's 10. But because we rolled a 10 on the crit die, we can resolve the critical effect, which in this case is gain the priority target token. Another Titan can immediately move up to its movement and perform a bonus attack. Sometimes critical attacks will permanently damage the monster and make it easier to hit, give it a penalty for trying to hit you. All sorts of cool things can happen. But this is where we can come into the escalation of the game. When you've wounded a level 1 body part, you take out a level 1 AI card, grab a level 2 AI card and a level 2 body part and shuffle those up. So a stronger attack has been put in, a tougher to damage body part has been put in as well. If you damage a level 2, level 3s get put in instead. And if you can wound level 3s, they count as 2. So there is an escalation. As you damage the monster, it isn't going to take this lying down. It is going to fight back and get tougher and tougher. But so do we. When we attack, we increase our rage. And towards the end of our turn, we look at our Kratos pool here. Again, helpfully pointed out in red with those arrows there. And we get to put a token in the Kratos pool. We can put in an opening token, which will give the next Titan to act +1 on their hit dice, all of them, or we can put in a break token, and they are the ones that turn these triangles into successful wounds when you're trying to wound. So you would decide what you need. Okay, we're all finding it hard to hit at the moment, so let's put in an opening token in the Kratos pool, and then the next person to go will use that and find it easier to hit the Titan, which might be good since it's hiding out in the tall grass. As we increase our rage further and further, you get to re-roll the wound dice, put extra tokens in, items, abilities we can get can give us opportunities to put more of those things in as well. Like the Herculean fists over here as well, give you opening 1. That is, at this point, you put an opening token in. So 2 of those negate the bonus that the Primordial's getting from the tall grass there. And we keep going till all the Titans have gone. This one would just get to stand up, of course. And then the Primordial would go again, until one side is dead. So there's escalation in the body parts and AI cards from the Primordials, but also the Titans. As we move up this rage, you get access to more and better things in the Kratos table because you can do something from every line. As your danger increases, you can sometimes get access to more things. You see the rush ability on the Titans here. You can only perform this, which is a special move +1 and do an extra attack with auto break. You can only do that once you've taken 2 danger. And there are other things like that as well. The ability on your cards as well can be tied to the amount of danger that you've got. So you can unlock more things, but the higher you go on danger, when you've been damaged by an enemy, you get worse and worse draws from the trauma deck, up to the point where you'll draw from the obol deck, which can sometimes just be a 50-50 chance of whether you live or die. And fate, when you are re-rolling your normal dice, when you are being hit or trying to hit, you can re-roll a die for a fate each. If I wasn't happy with that one, I could have taken a fate to re-roll that and given myself a better chance. It was the same number, but yeah, you get the opportunity to do that, but you can see in the monster's attacks, it can reference, if this person's fate is really high, do a worse thing to them. And if you go over 9 on any of them, really bad things can happen in different ways. There's all sorts of new abilities on here where you can chase down the Primordial, you can pair up items that give you a special bonus and ability if you have paired them. At the end of the battle, we gather up all of the BP cards of all 3 levels, give them a shuffle, and we draw 4 of those cards. You gain the resources that are in this top right corner here, which will help you with crafting and things like that for the larger campaign. But this is different from Odyssey, where you got resources based on the wounds that you had given the monster. The level of the monster is going to determine how many of these that you draw. So next time you fought the Lion Eater, it would be level 1. You would draw 6 of these cards rather than 4. You can then delve into the carcass. So the other side of the Lion Eater sheet is the carcass of the Lion Eater, and you can delve inside it. It lets you gamble something. For the Lion Eater, you gamble one of these resource cards for a chance to gain something. So I could say I want to gamble this one. We roll power dice. So you can see on the card it tells us 3 power dice. Give them a roll and see what we get. So give them a roll, see what we get, and we got 3. So for 3 or more, we can have 2 redraws. So if there's particular things we didn't want, we wanted to try and get a different resource instead, or maybe draw something of a higher level, we could do 2 of them. Or you could choose to roll these again. If you get more successes, you'll unlock more rewards, but if you don't roll more, you won't get anything. That's the gamble. The Lion Eater cores, the thing at the bottom, the really rare things, they let you get special Titan forms, so it can be really tempting to go for those. And then we can craft new things, and you will unlock more as you go through the journey. In the journey phase, we start out on this tile, and to go downwards, we have got to travel to tile number 12, and you can see there's 17 here. Tells us a number that we have got to draw up to in the exploration deck. The app can do that for me, and we have ended up with 10, 15, 18. That's more than 17, so we stop there and we resolve the cards. Someone's going to have to get danger. We might lose some resources based on where we are. If you have bad relations with the group that's in the area, then you can gain extra danger as a group because we are denounced in there. We can lose bonds on our sheet, and look at the kind of terrain we are traversing in. Will very quickly in this demo be ambushed again by the Lion Eater, now at level 1 with more of its powers enabled, but we will have had a chance with the resources we gained and some of the gear cards available, giving you rerolls when you are defending, giving you red dice you can roll to try and avoid some attacks, giving you just 1 die to roll but plus 2 to hit with it, and you can roll more red dice, giving you a better chance to wound when you do get through. So in that level 1 fight, you'll be much more tooled up and hopefully be able to balance out the fact that the monster has been quite tooled up as well. So there we go. That is a look at Aeon Trespass Odyssey, the 12 Sins of Herakles. The core system, the battling, the escalation between the primordial and the titans themselves is all there. The epic story, which we've seen start to evolve in Odyssey, is here again, but it is all tweaked and expanded. The loot system, the abilities that we start with, new kinds of terrain, new primordials and behaviors for them and all of that stuff. Just more things to see. As I said, you can check this out on Tabletop Simulator yourself if you've got it and you want to, and see how all of the things work. Try and beat the Lion Eater yourself, a level 0 or 1. If you would like to see kind of a full battle playthrough, a full journey phase, albeit in the original Odyssey game, but you should get the idea of the kind of thing, the kind of adventure, the kind of writing that you can be expecting in 12 Sins of Herakles. I've done full playthroughs for the initial battle and initial journey phase of Odyssey. So the only spoilers present in it are the ones that are in the kind of learn to play section, but it should still give you a very good idea of the game. And for 12 Sins of Herakles itself, or Odyssey, it's a second printing campaign, remember? I can make that be full screen. How professional. Then yeah, you can check the campaign page out on Kickstarter. I'll put a link in the description. You can see all of the final stuff, how you can make it happen and get hold of a copy yourself. If you'd like to see more from me, well, I won't plug the Aeon Trespass Odyssey playthrough again, but I have done hundreds of other playthroughs. Hopefully there'll be some more you would like to see, and hey, you can subscribe if you like and find out when more happen. Thank you very much for watching this though, and I will see you for the next game. Bye everyone.